Yes, we are back, people, with another article on how the Manila Times wants everybody just to be loving China. And SWS misinforms the public on South China Sea. Now, they're mad about a survey that was taken, and in a survey, most Filipinos said no, China shouldn't be in our sea. And Roberto Tiglo here, the guy who hates Filipinos more than anybody and just loves and prays China, don't matter what, is upset with you. He's upset so much, he's called you guys stupid and ignorant. We're going to get into that, right? Now, he starts off like a Karen. I have pointed out several times. Now, I have pointed out several times before that the SWS is one of the most nefarious propaganda tools. This is coming from a paper who writes more pro-Chinese articles than anybody. And he's really upset about the question. Misinformation in respondent on what the arbitration rule was claimed on 2021 polls that Filipinos clearly favor stronger action to assert the country's right in the West Filipino Sea. He's really upset about that. Really upset that Filipinos want to assert their right on their own land. He doesn't understand that. He can't understand that, right? But the poll question he's really upset with, and how they really upset at the poll question. The poll was financed by former affairs secretary, which has nothing to do with absolutely anything. The case in China, Del Rosa's wealth makes up 200. He's trying to dig into their wealth. They're trying to find information, and this information here, I'm going to post it. You can read for yourself. It has nothing to do with absolutely anything. So SWS does legitimate surveys that reflect the public opinion when questions are not ambiguous and clear-cut, such as who is the respondent vote for or if he's satisfied. They didn't put who they were for, so they put a completely neutral question in there, and he didn't like the outcome. Now, let's see if we can find it here. He doesn't even get into the question for the longest time. He just tries to go into this big rant and rave. He's going off like a Karen. So the Philippine government, all right, here it goes. In its June poll, SWS asked the respondents, the Philippine government is not doing enough to assert its rights in the country's territories in the West Filipino Sea. Now they wanted to, are you agree or disagree? So they've asked, did the Philippine government do enough in the West Filipino Sea? Do you agree or disagree with it? And he doesn't like that because Filipinos anonymously said they disagreed. They didn't like what's going on in West Filipino Sea, and they don't understand. So Tiglo, in his brilliance, he goes off on this huge rant, talks about the poll people and who they were, and he's trying to say that they're not for China, so all of a sudden they're biased, right? And we're going to get down to the funny part, right? The SWS also lied in his poll question when asked the respondents to agree or not to in the statement. So how do you lie? You are asking the people, yes or no. It's a yes or no question. And he's like, oh, you lied. You can't, oh, you lied. It's a yes or no question. You lied, right? And he goes off on this other thing. So here's where he calls Filipinos stupid and intellectually backwards, that you guys aren't competent enough to make any kind of decision about the Filipino Sea, right? So the SWS is ignorant and pretends ignorance of the deep flaw in opinion polls. Here's his words, he quotation himself, mistakenly assumes that everyone is politically and intellectually competent enough to interpret the questions the way the pollsters and journalists do, and all the people must have an opinion on such matters. So they ask a very simple question. Do you as a Filipino agree that the government has done enough in the West Filipino Sea, yes or no? And he's saying that you are too stupid to understand that question. That's his exact words. Oh my Lord. So you can find him on Facebook. You can email and let him know about what you think about him calling you as a Filipino stupid. He's trying to sell his books. But basically that's what it comes down to. Roberto Tiglo thinks you're stupid because you want to stand up for yourself in the West Filipino Sea.